Hello, welcome back. I'm Juliana and today I'm going to teach you how to make choreg. So choreg is a type of Armenian cookie typically made around Easter, and it's a tradition in most families to make it. And we also make something called brioche, which is right here. And this is a type of sweet bread, kind of like challah bread, and that's also made around Easter. But today I'm going to show you how to make choreg. So first we're going to start with the dry ingredients, and of course I have my oven preheated to about 350 to 375 degrees. So I'm going to start with 5 to 6 cups of flour. This really depends on like how the texture of your mixture after everything is mixed. So for now you can add like 5 cups, and then afterwards you can always add more. And then you're going to add in 3/4 cup of sugar. My family typically likes it sweeter, so we add a little bit more, like between 3/4 and 1 cup. And then that's another thing you can taste after mixing and just see up to your preference. And then we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of a spice called maklab. So it looks like this, and you can get it at like any Middle Eastern market. And this is really what gives the flavor of the choreg, so this is pretty important to have. So that's a 1/2 teaspoon. And then we're also going to add 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And then we're gonna whisk that all together. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our wet ingredients. So we're gonna start with 1 cup of melted unsalted butter, so that's 2 sticks of butter. We're just gonna add that in. And then we have 1 cup of mazola oil. And sometimes you may want to start with adding a bit less because it might be too like oily at the end. So I'm just gonna add like that much for now. And then also 1 cup of water. And then you can either mix with your hands or with a whisk. I'm gonna start with a whisk, but then I'm gonna move to with my hands because I just find it to be a lot easier. So it's gonna be a pretty thick dough. So now I'm gonna move to my hands and make sure they're washed. So an easier way to mix the dough is to put it like on a surface lower down. So that could be like a chair or I don't know, anything really. And you're just gonna keep folding it over and over. And make sure to get like all the flour on the sides of the bowls. And just really knead it until it's completely combined. So the texture of my dough is actually pretty good. So I'm just gonna check it for taste to see if it's sweet enough. Okay, so I tasted it and I'm pretty good with the flavor of it. So at this point, this is when you would add more flour or sugar and really just like make sure the texture is right. You want it to be able to like hold together because you are going to be making shapes with it later. And as you can see, it is kind of oily, so that's why I didn't add in all of the oil. Okay, so now before actually shaping it, we're going to let it rest for about half an hour to 45 minutes. And this really lets the spices sink into it and make it more flavorful. So you're just gonna get like any towel and cover it. It doesn't really have to be damp. And you're just gonna let it sit either in the fridge or outside. But I wouldn't do it in the fridge because then it could get like hard. So you don't, yeah, just it's better to leave it outside. So I will see you in about 45 minutes. Okay, so now my dough's been nice and rested, and as you can see, we've already started shaping them. So now I'm just gonna show you the different ways that you can shape them. So the most traditional way is just to take like a ball about this big, and you're just gonna knead it a bit in your hand, and then roll it. Until it's like about that long. And you're just gonna put it in a circle and then put one over the other, and with your nail just like poke it, and that's it. And then you get a tray, usually lined with parchment paper, but you could also use like foil and spray it. Yeah, so that's the traditional shape. But you can also use cookie cutters and make different shapes with it, like these. Or you could braid it and do different things with it, swirl it. So it's really up to you. You could do anything with it. So once you've had them all lined, before you bake them, you want to do an egg wash. So you just take an egg, crack it, and like whisk it, and then with like a brush, or I guess you could also do it with a spoon or something, you just brush it over the cookies, and then you bake it until they're nice and brown like these. So it can take like, what, 20 minutes? It takes a bit.